Hey there. You've probably already heard by now, but Master Roshi received a massive nerf to his B assist. And it is true, he did receive a pretty sizable nerf to this assist that changes one very important thing about how you have to use it. But I want to dispel any worries that someone might have right here, right now, about him potentially being nerfed into the ground, because that is just simply not the case. And I want to make the point that this nerf to his assist is not nearly as big as people think it is. People are acting like they broke his legs, he's an unplayable character, the assist carries no merit anymore, and it's just all completely untrue. What we're going to do here in this video is really quickly cover what the change actually was and how it affects his gameplay, and we're going to talk about why, depending on your team, it might not affect how you have to use him very much or at all. Alright, so what actually changed? Well, there is now a very small gap between the first and second hits of his assist on block. On hit, it's still always going to work. In neutral, it's still the same thing. What's important, though, is to keep in mind that now there is a tiny little gap here. So if we set the opponent to guard first only, they will actually get hit by the second hit. That means there was a tiny gap where they could have done something. If we set them to guard all, but we tell them to mash, for example, we'll see that they can't, mash to get out. They're still going to end up getting hit by Roshi here. What's really important to remember here is that it's going to allow the opponent to play sort of rock, paper, scissors to get out of the situation. And that's what it is. They have the chance to gamble their way out of a defensive situation if you use this assist. Very similarly to how if you were using Piccolo's orb assist in pressure, they could gamble with a reflect or a super dash. Except in this case, their options are actually even more limited. So yes, they can reflect Master Roshi away, and mid-screen they can also backdash to get away. So let's set the opponent to backdash and have them block Master Roshi assist, and they can escape. These look like two guaranteed ways to get out of a situation, but actually, it's not that bad. And we're going to talk about why it's much more risky for the opponent to gamble with a reflect or a backdash to escape this situation than it would be if they were to just be gambling against a Ki Blast property assist like Piccolo Orb or Super Saiyan Vegeta A assist. Alright, so the first thing we're going to show is just that, yes, we can reflect after blocking the Roshi assist. You can just react to blocking him and reflect him away. But as we can see with this recording I have, the opponent could always just use a reflect-proof string whenever they use Roshi's assist. So it's very similar to how you might see someone do this to cover defensive options and reset their pressure, even with an assist that's Ki Blast property, like Super Saiyan Vegeta's or Piccolo's. Another thing this will probably cover, depending on how big your character's normals are, is that it will cover backdash. So if I successfully get the backdash timing here, like right there, it will actually chase me down and punish me. One more time just so you can see what I'm talking about. Actually missed it. It's a little hard to time consistently, so if they mess up and you use a low, you'll probably just clip them for standing up. So yeah, this is an easy way to just reset your turn and still use the assist that way. This is not the answer to someone reflecting. This is still obviously a free reflect for the opponent, even if your character has a way of staying in. There's no risk at this stage for them reflecting. So what can we do to really cover that? And what we can do is you can actually drag and rush between the two hits. You can use a command grab if your character has a command grab, and honestly, maybe even stay plus if they do successfully jump the command grab. One thing to keep in mind about this is that the Dragon Rush can be pretty risky, because if you mistime it, you might put yourself in a position where it just doesn't actually connect. You can see that I'm +5 in this situation, so I'm the defending Gogeta over here. I was +5, meaning I couldn't get a punish because my fastest attack is 6 frames, but I would be able to force the other Gogeta here to start blocking and defending. So you run the risk of potentially getting punished if you miss the timing by too much, and if you only miss it by a little bit, then you'll probably be safe, but you're going to give the opponent their turn. So there are much better ways to bait out a reflect here. The easiest way of doing that is just going to be by going low in the middle of the block stun. This is actually just super easy to do, and if I try to stand up to reflect, I'm going to get clipped low. Same thing if I try to backdash, I'm going to have to stand up to try to input backdash. I'm going to get clipped low here too. The important thing is just to remember to challenge them with a low right before the second Roshi assist would have made contact, right when they would have had to stand up to reflect it. Another really easy option to bait this out is to simply just instant air dash over the opponent if you are mid-screen and have the option to do that. And the reason this is going to work is because now if I try to reflect and he gets on the other side of me, I'm no longer hitting back plus Ki Blast to get my reflect, I'm hitting forward plus Ki Blast to get my reflect. So that's actually giving me forward Ki Blast, which is usually an attack. In Gogeta's case, it's a beam, or in Piccolo's case, it'd be his antenna. In most characters' cases, it's just going to be a Ki Blast. So you can just screw up their inputs. And this would probably screw up dashes as well, since I would now be running towards the opponent instead of away from them. But there's more ways to bait this too. You can also just push them out of the way of Roshi, so you just run at them for a second, and the second hit of Roshi is going to not connect, which means now they can whiff punish your reflect and get really, really good damage this way, without having to necessarily hard bait it. And if they bait it with this kind of style, they will be able to chase you down if you go for the backdash. I think if you're running at someone and they backdash, you realistically can actually just react to it and punish it. This is actually a pretty common option after using a vanish, because a lot of people will do risky things like level 3 or reversal or mash here. So what you can do is you can vanish, you can dash block. So you dash really quick and hold down back, which means you will actually run at them, but you will block in time if they mash or use a reversal. And you can just react to the backdash and you can punish it. Not too bad. At the very least, even if you are going to be a little bit late in this sort of situation, you're still getting your turn started and you're still making them feel stupid. It looks like you called them out even if you miss the punish, and that definitely sends a message. All right, so at this point, what we've done is cover a bunch of reasons why the opponent can't just reflect for free, right? They can't just reflect for free or backdash for free to get away. Now I want to make the point that this assist is still a top 5 assist in the entire game. It was arguably the best assist in the game before. I still think it's top 5 at least. This assist is absolutely bananas, even with this nerf. I think the easiest way for me to prove that is to show that it is still a top tier mix-up assist, especially if you can get them to the corner with honestly most characters as long as they have a low 2L. So let's set the opponent to guard first only to show that this is absolutely airtight. And what we're going to do is literally, I'm just hitting 5M with my character plus Roshi assist. And you see there's a gap there. I'm going to fill the gap with super dash. And now it's gapless. And it's locking the opponent down the entire time, starting from the 5M and letting me get an air dash, overhead mix-up, or a land and go low. This is a 50-50. This is one of the most potent 50-50s in the entire game. It works with a bunch of characters in the corner. And you really just super dash at them, put yourself in this position where you're off the ground, and you either air dash for a delayed overhead or land and go low, and it is actually a 50-50. You will see top players go for this all the time because it is that good. In fact, you will see top players go for this even with assists that don't lock down the entire way. They just want it to lock down after the super dash. They're willing to take that risk of leaving a gap before the super dash just because if the opponent respects it, then they get this 50-50. And that is so good. Okay, so let's make sure that they're set to guard first only, just so you can believe me on this. But in Roshi's case, there is never a gap. In Roshi's case, the whole thing is gapless. And this is amazing. There are very, very few ways of doing this in the entire game, and he can still do this. Because of the nature of how this mix-up works, it still fills that gap for you, and it is completely gapless. There's also a handful of things in the game that pretty much only this assist can do, or there's very few assists that can also do these things. So, what does this assist do exceptionally well? And if you've never played against it, then consider yourself lucky because this is one of the most frustrating assists in the game to deal with as the other player. For starters, you can make yourself safe to guard cancel in situations where maybe you didn't have a way of saving yourself simply by just reacting to the guard cancel with Master Roshi assist. He will kind of block them for you and get you a punish as well. There are certain situations in the game where a guard cancel is a guaranteed escape. Like if you ever block Teen Gohan or Adult Gohan's EX legs, you can just react to it with your own guard cancel and you are totally safe. But they can just call Master Roshi. And I think what happened there is Master Roshi actually blocked the opponent from hitting us, so we were safe, and then the last hit of our legs actually punished the guard cancel for us. And again, I'm just reacting with Master Roshi's assist, and I'm able to get this punish very, very easily. This will work in a variety of situations. I'm using this as an example because it is a guaranteed guard cancel situation where now it's not guaranteed anymore, and that is very, very cool. His assist is also just very, very good in scrambles because it is armored. It is pretty much invincible. You can't hurt him during it. There's a very, very small amount of time on startup where you can hit him. He just wins if you call him near the opponent, pretty much. They have to respect him. They have to deal with him. And maybe they have to play that game after they block him of do they reflect, backdash, or just chill out. And you now might have to play that game if they do react to it, where you have to go low to call out their backdash and call out their reflect, or go for a reflect-proof string to make sure that you get your turn. But in general, if you get close to somebody, if you get above them, if you get anywhere near them and you call this assist, you're winning neutral. There's really not a whole lot they can do. You're winning neutral. If you ever put yourself in a position where you drop a combo and now maybe you're going to end up getting down tech mashed and lose the situation, now you can just save yourself with Master Roshi assist. Like, oh, I dropped the combo, never mind, I'm fine. Doesn't matter. I do this all the time whenever I'd play Master Roshi B assist because I'm not perfect. I drop combos all the time. And when I do, and I know the opponent's in a scramble right afterwards, especially if it looks like they can take their turn or punish me, I just let Master Roshi rip and he saves the day for me. Every time. He is the most top tier, I'm gonna win this scramble I just created assist in the whole game. He also just has an incredible amount of minimum hit stun. So if you're playing a character that might want to really extend their combos, he is going to allow you to always end in that Dragon Rush. You saw this throughout the finals in Japan when Kazunoko was playing Master Roshi along with Gotenks. He'd be able to do multiple re-jump loops with Gotenks and still end in a Dragon Rush sliding knockdown, still put himself in a position where he could go for Ghost Oki. This assist is absolutely ridiculous for combos. And no matter how the assist connects, it is going to combo. He always makes sure that they're at the right height. So if he hits on the ground, he's going to let the second hit rip and you know you're good to go. And if he hits really high, he's going to delay that second hit until they get to the right height so that you can make sure your combo always works. Oops. Side switch. And again, as we covered before, he is pretty much one of the only assists in the entire game that can set up pretty much safe, gapless, high-low 50-50s with Super Dash in the corner. So if you would like to purchase Master Roshi B Assist today, all you need is 5 easy payments of... You probably bought the season pass and probably have them already, I don't know. This assist is still absolutely bonkers. It's still super good. I don't want people thinking that the character is literally unplayable now. I also want to make the point that there are a lot of assists in the game that we recognize as very, very good assists that have similar drawbacks. So how come now that Roshi has this drawback of now the opponent can reflect defensively, even though it can be baited easier than other assists that have that drawback, how come now we're writing him off like he's a dead character? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Assists like Super Saiyan Vegeta assist or Janemba's assists, which are super, super good at calling out defensive options, at winning scrambles in neutral, at just converting really well and being really useful for their really high minimum hit stun and combos. Master Roshi is, in my opinion, in the same category as them, although I think he wins scrambles even better in a lot of cases, is even better for combos in a lot of cases, and is just better for offense too. So if he's a character that you like to play or a character that you're interested in, don't write him off solely because of this one nerf. There is one more change to him that I do want to cover really quick just because it is a noticeable change, but I think this one is actually such a small change I don't want to talk about it for more than like 30 seconds. Let's see if I can do this really quick. His armor now loses its invincibility after the first stage. So really quickly after he whiffs it, the armor runs out. We can still fight our way out on defense with it. It's still going to work the exact same way. The only thing is now if I hold the assist, the opponent can punish me. So now if I'm whiffing this, the opponent can actually hit me before the second stage starts. And the same kind of thing with the other armor. They can actually catch me before the second stage. It's only the first stage that has the armor now. This is still actually quite good. I'm kind of having trouble with this recording trying to beat it consistently. But yeah, you kind of get the idea. So as long as you kind of wait for that second stage, you're probably good to get the punish. that's literally it. It's still a great reversal. It's still going to win scrambles after like a Vanish, after a 6M, you know, universal overhead. To anyone who thinks that this is like a big nerf to his pressure, you didn't really use this in pressure that much already. His down-down light and down-down medium were probably more commonly used, as long with his quarter circle forward light. So if I wanted to use an assist with him, I do something like this or that. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. That's what I want to talk about. Let me know what you guys think about the Roshi changes down below. Are they actually as big of a deal as people have been making it out to be, or do you think he's totally fine? I think he's fine, but I want to know what you guys think. We'll be covering more Super Baby stuff later in the week, so keep an eye out for that. If you want to see that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And since it's so new, I want to remind you guys too that we have a Discord now. So if you're interested in being part of the community and learning and having fun with the rest of us, feel free to join. The link is going to be somewhere down below. There's plenty more on the way soon. Thanks for watching.